Welcome to News 30. Tonight we're bringing you some need-to-know information about class registration at OBU.
And we will also talk about how people are still struggling with issues from Oklahoma's large earthquake a couple months ago. Thank you for joining us for Shawnee News 30.
Oklahoma Baptist University's 2016 homecoming schedule is starting Thursday, November 10th. There's a lot going on around campus to celebrate, including the 50th Year Club Luncheon, the class reunion luncheon, and the Veterans Day ceremony. There's plenty more to do as the week goes on, so check out OBU's website to make sure you don't miss a thing.
Tomorrow, Friday the 4th, marks the last day of the semester where you can withdraw from classes for all OBU students. While the date to withdraw without having to pay for the class has passed, if you drop the class by tomorrow, then the class will not count toward your final GPA. After tomorrow, class drops will only be accepted if there is some kind of extenuating circumstance. You cannot drop the class online for yourself. For questions or to get the necessary forms to drop a class, you can visit the registrar's office inside the Thurman Hall tomorrow.
Registration dates are fast approaching for OBU students. Next week is the beginning of registration for J-term, and starting on Monday, November 7th, seniors can enroll, with juniors following on the 8th, sophomores on the 9th, and lastly, freshmen can enroll November 11th through the 14th. On the 11th, students can come from 7 to 8:30 a.m. to the Upper GC for help with the enrollment process. Breakfast will be provided along with music and other prizes.
OBU breaks school history as the very first debate team had their first competition this past week. They competed against a big college and ended up representing OBU well when they brought home the title tournament champions. Professor Lloyd says he's very confident in them and is hoping to place in their next competition known as the Ethics Bowl, which will take place on November the 11th through the 12th in San Antonio, Texas.
High school seniors will be staying here at OBU tonight for the first Night on the Hill event of the semester. College students will house prospective students for the night and give them a taste of our campus and OBU life in general. The night will consist of students pairing up, doing an activity in the dorm, and going to breakfast the next morning. It's an exciting night for prospectives and their hosts, so don't be afraid to hop right in and show these students what life here is all about.
On October 24th, OBU's own Dr. D.H. Dilbeck released his new book, A More Civil War, How the Union Waged a Just War. Today, Dr. Dilbeck gave a book signing in the Circle Bookstore in Oklahoma City. The book signing started at 6:30 p.m. and will last until 8:30 p.m. His book began as a dissertation at the University of Virginia. The main character of the book is a man named Francis Lieber, a Berlin expert in the laws of war, who drafted the Union Army's Code of Conduct, which detailed how to wage a just war. Dr. Dilbeck's book is available through Amazon and other retailers.
OBU freshman Jillian Murphy has also written and published a book that came out earlier this year. The book, The 4 Seasons of Hope, focuses on where people are in their walk with Christ. Murphy looks at and breaks down the seasons that we Christians have in our lives and compares them to the 4 seasons of the year. Murphy has recently had a book signing on October 29th, and another one will be coming up on December 10th at the Shawnee Mall.
OBU Theater Department's show You Can't Take It With You kicks off tonight with a show at 7:30. There will be several shows going on between now and the 13th, with evening and matinee shows going on in OBU's Craig Dorland Theater. Tickets can be purchased at okbu.edu/theater or at the door for $11 for adults and $5 for students.
When we come back, we'll talk about why presidential candidate Clinton is back under investigation.
And we will look at what Nintendo has decided to do with their current console. Welcome back to Shawnee News 30.
Recently, St. Gregory's University announced that their enrollment for this year increased by 31% compared to recent years. This spike in enrollment is largely due to the Citizen of Potawatomi Nation Scholarship Program that St. Gregory's has put into effect. Since this started just 1 year ago, the scholarship has paved the way for many tribe members to attend university, St. Gregory's now has nearly 10% of their student population as members of CPN. There are currently 71 CPN students enrolled at the university, and they expect this number to increase in upcoming years.
The Ritz Theater in downtown Shawnee is under new ownership. Safe Events for Families is a nonprofit that organizes family-friendly activities in Shawnee, and they are now in the planning stages of renovating the downtown landmark. Though they say Ritz Theater will never be a fully functioning movie house again, Steph's goal is to make it an event center and an active part of the community.
The search for Michael Vance has come to an end. Police have been searching for the double murder suspect since October 23rd when he fled a police shootout near Wellston. He's believed to have killed 2 people and injured 2 more since then. According to the U.S. Marshals Service spokesman, Vance was pulled over by Dewey County Sheriff Clay Sander around 9:30 on Sunday, October 30th, near the Oklahoma town of Leedy. There was an exchange of gunfire that left Sander injured, while Vance fled in what would become a 20 to 25-minute car chase. OHP spokesman Paul Timmons said Vance was killed in the gun battle with 3 Oklahoma Highway Patrol troopers. After the gun battle, Oklahoma Highway Patrol Chief Ricky Adams tweeted, "The manhunt is over."
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has awarded the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture $216,922 grant for implementing pesticide programs. The grant is part of an agreement between the EPA and the state to administer effective pesticide use. Funds from the grant will be put towards pesticide enforcement and regulation, worker protection, and endangered species programs. The Oklahoma Department of Agriculture already has the authority to regulate pesticides under the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act, which regulates the distribution, sale, and use of pesticides. All pesticides must be registered with the EPA.
The large earthquake focused in Pawnee, Oklahoma back in September led to nearly 300 insurance claims to the state insurance department. Since that time, only 4 of those claims have actually been paid out for less than $25,000. As of right now, over 39 claims have been closed without payment, and 17 have been denied with over 200 claims still open. It is unclear when or if all of these people will receive an answer to their current claims. According to Insurance Commissioner John Doak, most people in the Pawnee area who did have damage did not have earthquake coverage in their insurance plan. With earthquakes becoming more common in the state of Oklahoma every year, News 30 suggests that you check what your current insurance states about earthquake coverage.
Today, early voting began in the state of Oklahoma. Early voting will be continued until this Saturday, November 5th. This is open to anyone who is a registered voter, but you will have to go in person to your county's voting commission office to vote. You can vote on Thursday or Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. or on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. You have to vote in the county that you are registered and not where you live currently. The election board office here in Pottawatomie County is located at 14101 Acme Road in Shawnee.
Many new questions are coming up this week as the Hillary Clinton investigation is being reopened by the FBI. FBI Director James Comey announced last Friday, October 29th, that due to the discovery of new evidence, the investigation into Hillary Clinton's email server is being reopened. The evidence consists of newly discovered emails between Anthony Weiner, a former New York congressman who worked closely with Clinton, and his former wife, Huma Abedin, a former assistant to both Hillary and her husband, Bill. As of now, there has been very little information released about the emails in question, but since the announcement, Mrs. Clinton has taken a noticeable drop in almost every poll.
And bad news coming out of Apple as they report that their sales have declined. This is mostly driven by weak sales of the iPhone, which dropped 13% over this year. This is the first year that Apple has suffered an annual revenue drop since 2001.
A little more sad news coming out of Nintendo as the Wii U is ceasing production. This news comes following the company's unveiling of the Nintendo Switch, a home console that you can play on the go. The Wii U has been out for only 4 years, while the Nintendo Switch is set to be released in March.
The time we have all been waiting for has finally come. Daylight savings starts Sunday night, November 6th, so don't forget to set your clocks back an hour and enjoy that extra hour of sleep that we've all been waiting for.
When we come back, we'll go to Jake Nelson with the weather. We'll go over to Jake Nelson, who's hopefully about to tell us that we have some real fall weather in store.
Well, Hannah, for some parts of the state like southern and western Oklahoma, you may have gotten some rain and lightning last night, and those rain chances will pop up later in the next week. But for now, let's talk about weather outside and how we are finally seeing the fall weather we've all been oh so patiently waiting for. 67 outside right now, nice even 70 degrees for that high in Shawnee. 70s all across the metro area and the state. It's starting to look like the fall weather we remember. Looking ahead into tomorrow and into your weekend, cloudy with a high of 72 with winds out of the east around 10 miles per hour. Then moving into Saturday, we stay close to the same temperatures with a high of 74 and winds out of the southeast at 10 miles an hour. Then at 2 a.m. on Sunday, so 2 o'clock in the morning, we turn our clocks back an hour, marking the end of daylight savings time. So by doing this, we are gaining an hour of sleep. And then on the same morning, we're predicting those rain chances to pop back up around Sunday with winds out of southeast around 15 miles per hour. Rain chances somewhere in the 40 to 60% range. Then moving next week, that 40 to 60% range continues into Monday and part of Tuesday. Then on Tuesday and into Wednesday, and what looks like the rest of the week, those rain chances slowly decrease but remain throughout each day. And now you're up to date with News 30's latest weather forecast. I'm Jake Nelson. Stick around after the break for the latest in sports, right after this.
Welcome back. Dakota Carrington couldn't make it this week, but don't worry, Hannah and I have got your sports covered.
This past week, OU took on Kansas University in Norman in what was one of the most one-sided face-offs of the season. Baker Mayfield threw for over 230 yards with 4 touchdowns to lead OU to a 56-3 win. There wasn't a lot to talk about in that match, but this next week OU will travel to Iowa State. While OU is still the major favorite, the story is that running back Joe Mixon has been suspended from play after an interaction with an OU parking attendant. Even with this setback, OU is not expected to struggle in the game against the 1-7 Iowa State.
Last week, the Oklahoma State Cowboys took on the 10th-ranked West Virginia Mountaineers as the Big 12 standings began to take shape. The Cowboys won 37-20 in an upset that shook up both the Big 12 landscape and potentially the college football playoff picture. It remained a close game until the middle of the fourth quarter when the Cowboys took control. Mason Rudolph threw 3 touchdowns and had an impressive 26 completed passes on 36 attempts. Oklahoma State will face another stern test on the road as Kansas State this next Saturday.
Last night was Game 7 of the 2016 World Series between the Chicago Cubs and the Cleveland Indians. The historic game was important to both teams, who carried the 2 longest World Series droughts in the nation. The Cubs were on top 6-3 in the top of the 6th inning after David Ross hit a home run. The Indians responded with a run of their own, followed by a 2-run home run by Raji Davis to tie the game in the bottom of the 8th. The game remained tied at 6-6 going into the top of the 10th inning. In the top of the 10th, game MVP and former Royal Ben Zobrist hit an RBI double, making the score 7-6, followed by yet another Cubs run. Even with Raji Davis bringing the Indians another run, the game ended with a score of 8-7 and a big W for Chicago. The Cubs won the World Series for the first time in 108 years. Congratulations, Cubbies. You've been waiting for this one a long time. Ray-Ban sunglasses might be looking at a new spokesman, or so one politician might be hoping. Yesterday, during an interview in Florida, Vice President Joe Biden put on his signature Ray-Ban sunglasses, and the crowd took notice.
Biden joked that he was wearing the sunglasses so that hopefully, when he needs a new job soon, Ray-Ban will consider him to be their new sponsor. As of right now, the company has not made a statement on whether or not they would consider Biden.
That's all that we have time for this evening. Thanks for joining us.
And remember, you can watch all our shows on YouTube at Shawnee News 30. See you next week.